Yo, what's up everyone? Going live just for a little bit. What's good, Birdman? We're just here kind of jamming on the Octatrack, the Blooper, kind of a fun little combo I like using a lot, as well as the Digitakt. Just doing a lot of just simple drum stuff. And yeah, I mean, hopefully the stream ain't too crazy or too choppy. If it is, of course, please let me know. I got the chat open up here. Yeah, we got some Sunday jams basically. And yeah, anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and kind of just jump into some jams. I'll keep up with you all in the chat. Hello, everybody. White Whisker, Sig Torres, Steven, Vic D Mode 1. What's good? This is kind of like this weird little loop I started working on here, because if I go into slices here, right, this is the little slice I got here. But basically, this is this weird little and then I have the Digitakt sending main clock over to this, and all I have on the Digitakt right now is just a kick. Right, so I was exploring on Octatrack. I'm going to turn off the Digitakt for now. On the Octatrack, I also have this other chop up loop here. Right, and if we go into our loop, I'm going to set that to ping pong. Yo, what's up everybody? Man, there's a bunch of y'all in here. What's going down? I got the chat right here. So hello Steven again, Wayne, Fucci, Jolly, Birdman again, Show, Sig, what's up? Zet Boy, tried the baseline thing with the Bay City. Turned out dope. Yeah, of course. You know, Sig, there's another really tight video by Marlo Diggs. And he basically does the opposite of what I did, and he puts a high pass on his samples to get to hear basically new melodies within a sample. Yeah, anyway, it was pretty cool. Ricky, look up the Kintone Ribbons pedal. I saw that, Matthew. I was curious about that too. Modular Sound Bath, good to see you here. Zet Boy, DJ Tyson, Max Martinez, nice, good last name. Keith, Bradford Keith Madison. Wow, I've said that one completely backwards. You don't hear anything, only bleeding. I don't hear a thing, only bleeding. Okay, not sure what that means. And what's up, Seg? Anyway, let's kind of find this weird little sample I have here. If I hit Q, I can send this over. What's up, Mizu? What's up from Brazil? Hello, hello. You can see it's ping-ponging. I know it's a little blown out in the thing, but on track 7 I have my through track, and now it's going to the blooper and back into here. I have a crazy amount of reverb. I'll set that to send, and we'll go back to track 3. So if I press play on this, I'm going to just set a loop, dun dun, and then we'll turn it into play mode. And track 7. So right now, that's going through the blooper here. I can turn up my repeats. And I have it set to addition. We can turn on our modifiers. My personal favorite though is the, oh, no synth sounds. Y'all can't hear this at all. Oh man. Thank you, thank you. Is that true? Can we only hear, y'all can only hear me, you cannot hear the synthesizers? That's interesting, because I see the volume of the synths in my little mixer here, but that's gonna suck if voice is good, it's synth sound. Oh, it's just low, okay. Awesome, good to know. Here, I'll turn that up. Okay, that's probably a little better there. Awesome. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, cool. So again, where are we at? Cool, so right now we just have this and the blooper. And essentially what I end up doing is trying to find these little loops. Or I'll clear this loop out, right? And we'll just grab a new one. And on the blooper, there's also a dry kill switch that I'll sometimes turn on. And right now we're only listening to the wet signal in here. And let me turn up the repeats. And sometimes I'll just try and find like a new kind of like weird rhythm. I kind of talked about this in that last video with the low pass and the high pass filters and stuff like that, where I just try to find another sound or loop within the loop that I'm messing with. And what I'll end up doing is on the Octatrack, I'll set up another track to just be able to grab those loops. So for example, we're mainly working on track 3, which is where I have all of the these samples from. So I'm going to turn our dry back on so we can hear it, because I have this turned off right now. But if I uncue this, right, so what I'll end up doing is on track 3, I'll set its record buffer to listen to track 7, which is our through track. This is going to get so, if you're not familiar with the Octatrack, this is probably going to fly well over your head because it gets really confusing really fast, but I'll try to explain it the best that I can. There's 8 recording buffers, and these recording buffers, oh, thank you, most excellent. Good to hear that you dig it live. And yeah, anyway, there's 8 recording buffers. These recording buffers are like another layer. So since I'm going to be mainly on track 3 playing these sounds, I want to set up track 3's recording buffer to listen to track 7. Why would I do that? I wanted to listen to track 7 because track 7 is where the blooper audio is coming back into the Octatrack. I'm not having to come back on track 3 because I'm using that to play the sample. I need that one. So source 3, again, I know you can't see it, but source 3 is basically source 1, source 2. Source 3 is going to be the internal tracks. I have that set to number 7. I'm going to set its trigger mode to just 1, loop off, and record length. This is also really nice. I'm going to just set it to 32. I'm just going to grab 2 bars real fast. Quantized record, I find this kind of fun to use. It's going to be the pattern length, and that will let me grab just a quick little pattern of what's going on according to the tempo that I have set. So, and it'll just wait till the end of the pattern to start recording. So again, if I press play now, right, we'll turn loop off on this. And then again, if I launch this from the DT, we just have a little kick. Right, I'm going to copy this pattern and I'm going to go to another pattern, paste it here. And I'm going to clear this pattern now, and we're just going to set this to be 16 steps for now. And let's see. Let's try that. This is the 1 here, so I'm going to shift it over by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll launch it again so we can hear ourselves, right? Oh, this is this coffee is coffee, but it's decaf. I know there's still a little bit of caffeine in there, but it's not too late. I mean, it's what, 6:20. I should be all right. Dope little mug. Made it from inspired by the homie, right? If you need a little good luck charm. I think I have maybe somewhere in the stream there's merch somewhere that you could buy if you're curious. Don't sweat it. Anyway, all right, back to where we are. We have this little, right, let me adjust these real quick. I want this to be right on the 1. And then I'm going to go to our amp. Make this really, turn up the attack a little bit. And you can hear on this one slice, it's pretty harsh. I'm gonna jump in there real quick and do this, grab a little bit of a, oh right, whoops, let's go to slices. Here's where I wanted to zoom into. That'll help a little bit. And then we'll go to our effects and give it a little tiny bit of reverb. Okay, cool. So this is going now into the blooper, right? In the on the blooper, I'm gonna clear our loop and I'm just gonna set like a little tape loop really fast to the tempo using this here. But I wanna make it really fast, so on, off. Now we just grabbed a loop of basically nothing, but I'll relaunch its overdub feature and turn up our, let's see, turn this off. Oh, my bad, let's try that one more time. Let's go here and we'll say, bump, bump. Oh, duh, and on the Octatrack, I need to send it. So I'm gonna say Q, send it over, we don't hear it. I'm gonna turn on our through track. So now that's coming back in on the blooper. We got the dry on. That's kind of tight right there. Let's play with the modifiers. Yeah, I want to make sure that's repeats right there. We got stability. And then I forget which one I have my filter on. Yes, Birdman, I 100% hear you with that. Modular sound bath. When did I start decaf? I start decaf in the evenings and regular in the morning. Just 1 cup in the morning, that's it. Okay, cool. So look, there's something weird happening here, right? We got some weird, almost dubby style pitching up filtering thing. We can turn our repeats up. Right, it's all just exploration here. A little more volume on the gear? All right, let's try that. Let's see if I can push it a bit more. Oh, sorry if that was super loud. I just jumped that by 6 dBs like nobody's business. Okay, so say we have this right here, right? Now I can go back to here and just grab a quick loop of this. And now it's going to wait till the end of the pattern and all that stuff. I can go ahead and mute this. I'll mute track 3, uncue it. We have nothing now, but if I go into, let's say, track 1, I can set this to a flex, and going back to our recording buffers, I can say track 1, listen to track 3's recording buffer, which was recording track 7. So again, don't worry if you're lost. We probably all are. But if I go and look at this, let's go to our trim here. Let me throw a step here. So that's now this little loop that we got here. And if I really wanted, you can do whatever you want with this, right? So we can play chromatic. Right, I know it's a little quiet, but this one I'm just going to yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, that's like kind of cheesy old school, right? We still got the trigger here at the beginning. And now what we're listening to is the resampled version of that weird bloopery thing that we had going on. So we can leave that in here. We can go ahead and mute this track and try something else out, right? So we'll send this to the queue again, we'll unmute it, we'll go back to track 7, unmute that, and then looking back at our blooper, let's say on track 3, we did something a bit different and maybe went, let's go back to our slices. Cool, we'll throw that in there. So that's here. I'm gonna say on this step, no reverb, and I'm gonna lock it in really fast. I'm gonna copy it to this step here. And then I can see also that it's this sound here, this slice. I wanna make it a little tighter. Yeah, there it is, so. And then same thing on that one step, I'm gonna say filter up on the low pass, pull our low pass down, bring the high pass up, a little bit of Q. Oh, Bradford, you know what, now I mention it, now I think about it, I don't think the mug is on the merch. I just made this maybe for myself. I'll put it up after this. I'll make it available. Yeah, sorry about that, but for right now, I think this might be one of the only ones. I was just testing it out to see what it looked like. Yo, what's up, Ozzy? All right, this coffee sucks, by the way. It's like Starbucks decaf. I bought it to make an avocado. Don't do it, it doesn't work. Anyway, we're here, this weird thing. Let's try this again. I'm gonna clear out that loop. We're gonna try something a little different. Bump, bump. And then we'll turn on A. Yo, that's kind of cool right there. So here's another important thing to remember. I have that recording, that flex track that I recorded prior to this. That was like exploration 1, right? If I go and I hit record on track 3, it's going to override that thing that we have on track 1, which is this trippy thing from earlier. So now that I'm on track 1, I need to go and save this recording, and I'll just save it BLP1, just because that's just number 1. And I'm going to assign it to a new static track. That way when I go and assign, when I record something else, this will be saved into the memory, onto the compact flash, and the RAM I won't have to worry about the RAM getting cleared. So again, here we'll press play. Track 7's doing its thing. On track 3 here, I'm going to go ahead and say record. It's going to grab 2 bars of this. Sweet. Now it's muted. If I unmute track 1, that's now that recorded version of what we just had. But what's cool, let's try something different. Awesome. Now I'm just recording this quick little bump, 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 right? If we throw the kick on here. And you start coming up with these weird kind of like jerky rhythms because they were going through the blooper and then kind of not. But if you wanted to get even trippier, we could take this, turn the volume down, and send it through the blooper again. And then looking here, or grab a weird loop. right? We'll clear this little quick thing. We'll make it really fast. Dun, dun. Right, you can get trippy with it, but that's just showing that I can send it back into this. We'll clear that, we'll turn that off. We're just back on the OT now. And I can say, we'll filter this down, turn the Q up on this sample, set it to 24, just on the low pass, and you have an envelope here. That's kind of cool, let's give it a little attack. Well, let me take a quick little second to say what's up to everyone. Modular Sound Bath, yes, you need to try that out. DJ Tyson, thank you. Bradford, yes, hello from Poland. I saw this. Australia, yeah, what's going on? Sequencing CCs, maybe, yep. Hold Steady Coffee, it's my favorite moment. Using the Octa, it's like using, like the, what? Something. I think I understand what you're saying. Hello, everybody. Cool, anyway. Back at it. Let's see where else this takes us. This is kind of cool, and what's tight here is I can say, let's make this 64 steps, and it's going to copy this across, right? And then we'll say, put these steps here. And then on this last one, this last step before it comes all the way back around, I'm going to turn the depth on this envelope or filter a little down and turn our attack higher up and the width higher up so we can really hear it kind of ring out a little bit more. Let's see. Yo, that's it right there. Let's kind of go to the DT and see what's going on here. I don't know what this pattern is from, but I'm going to go here and we'll start a new pattern because I don't want to get this one messed up. It might be to something important later. Awesome. Oh yeah, everything's on its own trippiness. So I'm going to set this to just 32 steps for now. Awesome. I'll take those out. What is this on? We'll do 16 steps for the clap, and I'll unmute that, of course. So here we can kind of choose like this almost early vibe to it, right? Or if you wanted to really groove, you just put it, you know, you can kind of play around with it, have it early on one. I really like this idea here, but what I would love to do with this is have another clap kind of be on. So like if we were to say track 4, let me find a clap that'll work here. Sure, that'll work, and I'll put those here. I'll set this to 16 steps as well. You know what, that doesn't really work. I think the sample itself is a little funky. Maybe if we pitched it up a bit and made it really sharp. And then the other thing too is this one here is a little too loud. But I don't like this. I'm not digging this at all. So we'll go here, we'll take that out. I like this here. We'll turn that back up, a little bit of reverb. Right now, Ole, I'm not keeping time with the, yo, what's up, High Five Boogie? Good to see you as always. Right now, I'm not using the ERM for this setup. I'm just sending MIDI out of the Digitakt into the Octatrack, and then you're just hearing audio straight out of the Digitakt, straight to the little live switcher mixer thing. Just for ease of use, no real reason. I mean, I have the ERM when I'm rocking everything with Ableton Live and all that stuff. But right now I'm not using it. I'm just kind of messing around on here. And I think I have, yeah, so I was messing around with that whole loop cloud thing. Also, just a heads up, I work at Electron. I just happen to use these to make music as well. This isn't for work. I'm just chilling. It's Sunday, chilling with y'all. But I was messing around with that loop cloud thing because I had to learn it, right? Because I had to make the videos on it. So I have a bunch of random little loops on here that actually end up being kind of tight. I mean, right, here's this little one. I can go and really filter this out, just to kind of give me a little bit of crunch. That's kind of cool. Bring that down a little. Yeah, exactly. You said it, friend who I cannot pronounce your name. Sifklog. I'm guessing you just slapped the keyboard for that. I might be wrong. But they are saying captivate. Oh, they're just saying modify and remodify all those loops, right? That is exactly it. Like how I got here, I have no clue, because we started off with this, like just one sample, right? We started off with this. Right, that's all we started with. But then I ran that into the blooper, and then that got me this other thing, and then that got me somewhere else, and then I started adding these weird drum loops, and now we're at this trippy beat. Yo, did you hear that? That's because I accidentally had that on. But that actually kind of works too, right? If we were to mute that. And, you know, so I think that's kind of the point of how I like to make music, is just this like exploring loops, finding these rhythms within other rhythms, and then taking a sample and resampling it and pushing it and stretching it and pulling it and finding these weird sounds within that sound, if that even makes sense. And excuse me, but I think that's what gets me really excited, because at a certain point I'm like, where am I? Like, what just happened? How did I get here? You know? So I think that's what ends up being really fun about this. Let's see, Brian Bites, give us deets on the new Electron gear coming out this spring. Oh, okay, cool. You want to hear everything new? It's beep. I can't say nothing. I don't even know if there's anything new. I just work there. Where do you think you find most of my samples? Honestly, Marcos, I have a ton of samples that are on here as well that I got off of my MPC 4000, and I've been using that thing for so long, I don't even know where I got those samples from. But it's really easy to do sample management on there, so I've slowly over time kind of curated down to all the samples that I really like using. So I have a lot of samples that I kind of just use over time, but a lot of the samples that we're hearing here, this is, what sample is this from? I actually don't even know where I got this sample from, this trippy little, right? But if we go on to this here, I don't know if this will get me demonetized, but if I go and scroll down a bit, I used to sit with the Octatrack and my turntable for a long time and just take a bunch of samples. And I just have a bunch of random...
And then that audio comes down through the encoder.
Right, these are... I think some of these are random samples, some are off of records, some are from Splice. I use these in a bunch of my tracks. Yeah. Yo, Lost Tippy, thank you for that. I appreciate that a lot. That was a fun one to make. Yes, I have listened to Sweely. He's super sick. Thanks for that reminder, Finn. If y'all haven't, go check him out. He does a lot of really dope live stuff.
Trying to make it real compared to what?
Right, so like, say we wanted to use this, I can go and we now have this on track 5, which is going to be here. Take our start point. And we'll turn time stretch off, loop off, slices off. We'll go into our mix page here. That's kind of cool, and I'll put that here at the beginning. We'll say volume all the way down for now. Oh, right, and then I'll say delay. That's cool. We'll turn our time all the way up to 128. filter this down, bass up. Right, another little weird texture in there, all that stuff. And I don't want it happening that often. I'm actually going to take it off on these here. But we'll turn up the feedback on it. Yeah, this is kind of cool. All right, let's see what else we got on the DT here. This is a weird spot to be in because decent idea. Started off as a cool loop. You kind of take a break, you go and listen to it back, and you're like, where am I going with this thing? What's the end game here? What's the next pattern that comes after? Right. There's a couple little trippy things in here. Right. How is the swing happening? Right, exactly. That's the other thing about doing a lot of this trippy stuff. Well, I'm at a point right now where I need to figure out the next step, and I think I heard it, and it kind of goes with what you're saying, modular sound bath, which is where's the swing happening from? I think the swing, listen to this. There is just the trippiest swing on this thing, and it's because I was using the blooper manually and trying to create this weird delay time, and then it created this off loop, but I'm taking basically a perfect start and a perfect end point of pure chaos in the middle. And you get to find whatever rhythm you want to listen to as a listener in the middle of that. Yo, what's up, Panda Cat? So that's why I like using things like the Octatrack, because with quantized recording, same with the like fixed record length on here of like 32 steps, I get to choose the start and the end point of that chaos and where it's going to be and where it's going to end. So let's see, I'm going to take all this stuff out here. We just have a kick now. And then we have this loop, which also has swing in it. So there's like all this clashing swing, but I love it. I think it just sounds so trippy. We'll take that one out. Let's see what else we got here. Do we have any swing on here? Yeah, we got a little bit of swing. We're set to 59%. It's helping a little bit. Right, if we take that down. It's a little dead on, but I'll push it up to 59, 60. Whoa. Oh, that's what this was. This was a whole other song on this pattern is what I was messing around with. Because I think I have a little bass line on 5. Yeah. I don't even think these are in key, but this is this is the bass line sample of an entirely different song. If I turn off the Octatrack, we'll hear this. Yeah. That's just the Octatrack. Yes. See, when stuff like this happens, it makes me want to do a live set. Oh, that's coming in way too hot. My bad, sorry about that. That was super loud. And I have this weird LFO going on for this. Ooh. Yes. Thank you, Panda. Yeah, if y'all want to throw a thumbs up, I almost feel like I've never asked for that, but I would appreciate that. That's kind of nice. Yes. Dude, this is like one of those loops I can listen to forever. And I tell you what, we're going to change this up to pattern 1. We're going to pull an audible here. Yes. That's it right there. We'll go back to this. Listen to this, listen to this. And I'm pretty sure I have, I believe it's, let me take this last step off and see if it does what I think it's going to do. Yep, there it is. Whoa. Whoa. This is just the Digitakt, by the way. Like, I haven't even turned on the Octatrack stuff. I think the Octatrack was on Bank 1, Pattern 1, I think. Yes. Oh man, here, let's start it up. Oh right, that's what I had on here. We'll do little sources here. Yo, Ian, I appreciate that so much. You're never late, always on time. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for that super chat. It's all good. No need to apologize. Thanks for the support and thanks for being a member. I love that little emoji. I'm not sure if you caught the mug. Someone else is asking for this. I need to figure out how to get these out. We'll go to track here. Start bringing this down. That's just a vocal sample. That's track 8, right? Doing its little bongo loop. Before I jack something else up, let me go to track 2. Paste that here. There, now we're on track 2. And I want to push this really high up. Again, I'm going to take that Marlowe Diggs kind of technique that he was talking about. We're going to high pass this. Yeah, I don't have those mugs up yet, but after this stream, I'll go add it and I'll pin it as a comment in this live stream. I appreciate all y'all. Say amp. Go to track 7. That's our sample here. LFO's down, right? Yeah, that's fine. LFO 2, we're just changing the speed. Say none. So LFO 2 is changing the speed of LFO 1, but I don't want that to happen. Then I got this. Right, it's a little too intense, but just turn it up so you all can hear the vibe. All right, we can speed this up a little bit. Wait for it to resync right here. There it is. Bring that down a little bit. Again, it's so intense, but I just like the little touch of it. Have I used the Pioneer Remix 500 of 1000? No, I have not. Picked up the model samples, but kind of want one for the bigger brothers. Yeah, possibly. I hear that model. Oh, I see what you're saying. Never mind. I got you all mixed up. Go here onto the OT. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate that. Yo, Jocko, that's a mistake. You should go out to the shows. They're really good. Playing with the vocals. Right now, I wish I ran the Digitakt into the Octatrack so I can do some of those fun, like really crazy, let's say delay send, feedback, time. Yes, this groove. But let's test the groove, right? We got to put this groove to the test. What happens when we start taking elements out? Let's try taking out the sample and see if it still holds true. Okay. I actually think this works, this little vibe here. And you know what's so funny that you mentioned that, Siaka TV? I like the 8-bit sound feel of this. Do you get me? I do get you, and you have the ears of somebody who can recognize 8-bit sounds, because I took that sample off of the third wave, the bass sound, which is here on track 5. If we listen to this and go into... You can hear it kind of has a deep... right? And I'm running this in the same key, which is going to be G minor as our sample. So again, we'll take this pattern here, we'll go here, we'll paste it, and we will go into each track. We'll mute them for now, except for track 7, and we'll play back our sample. And I'll do oh boy, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? What is on? How am I getting that pattern here? Oh, right. I copied the track, not the pattern. We'll go to pattern 3, paste that here. Now we're rocking. We'll go ahead and mute all that, except for the bass and the pattern of the sample and the hi-hat. Let me turn off the Octatrack. I'm going to clear this, and I'm going to go and set just track 5, which is our bass, to 16 steps. Reset that, and you can see it's moving real slow. I have that set to half. We'll set that to 1. Got me making butter over here, bro. Nice, Femto, appreciate that. Yo, thigh rolls. This blue synth, it looks like a PPG. It's the 3rd wave, which is a PPG remake, reissue, but with a lot of other stuff that come from the wave as well. And it's by Group Synthesis. It's really cool. I did a video on it as well. You can go check that out. But okay, we're here. Now, if we go into chromatic mode of track 5. All right, now let's set to 32 steps. There it is. It's not even quantized. Let's see what happens if we quantize it. Does it help? A little bit. We got the swing on here at 59%. We'll bring that filter down. Let it get kind of squelchy, right? Push the resonance up. Yes. Track 7. Save this pattern. Track 1. There it is. Let's see if we can bring our OT back in. I'm going to lower the volume of this. Unmute this. This is going to be that little vocal sample. There it is, coming in hot. Anyway, yo, we're here. We're just jamming. I was in the stew, chilling, and I was like, I feel like seeing you. I feel like hanging out with you. But now I gotta go. It's dinner time, and I want to go grab some food. As you can tell, I'm low on calories. I can barely even think of the word food. But let's. I'm gonna say what's up to some more people, and if you have any questions or anything like that, throw them now in the comments below, and I'm gonna answer them. Why not? You know, I got another 5-10 minutes. Let's do it. So here's one from Howlin' Berry. Hypothetically speaking, can this track be built on the Digi alone? It can. Real quick. Yo, what's up, EasyBot? Finally, man. I was waiting for you to show up, and now I'm leaving. Come on, bro. I'm kidding. But if I mute everything on the Digitakt and we just play Digitakt, or mute everything on the Octatrack, just play the Digitakt, this is all coming off of the Digitakt right now. But let's go ahead and mute all these elements out, right? You hear some stuff is still playing. That is a loop, right? That was on track 7. We have a kick. This kick here is just a single triggers. It's just a single sample. If we go and listen to this, same thing, this same thing. All these like first 4 elements, as well as this, These are all just like single samples in one shot mode. If we go, oh, you know what? Track 4. This is where things got interesting. So track 4 is a 2-bar loop that I resampled on the Digitakt, or 32 steps, because I needed to make space, because you only get 8 tracks on the Digitakt, right? Or 8 if you want to take it Euro style. And because of that, I had to go and take tracks, I think it was 4 and 6, and resample them using the 32 steps record length and turn it into a new sample on track 4. So if we just listen to track 4, it's a single trigger right here, because that's where the up hat started. But you'll hear that there's like a little clave sound in the sample as well. So watch. That bunk. So I had to resample that. So going back to what you're talking about, Howlin, is that yes, this whole track can be built on here, but you kind of start running into that 8 tracks real fast, which is why I love using the 2 samplers together, because I can grab, sample, re-loop, remanipulate, find these other loops within these loops, and still have a lot of room. Because between these 2, I'm using up all 8 tracks on here. We'll continue what elements we got going on here. And then on the Digitakt, I'm really only using like 2 tracks, one for this little vocal loop, and then these, another one for some percussion stuff, but then the other 6 essentially are just gonna be like other auxiliary things, or I'll plug this in and like set it to quantized record mode and just play something in on the 3rd wave to the beat to kind of help, like, you know, just like live track my own playing in there. So yes, it could all be built on here, but for example, you'll have moments where you're like, oh man, I need to consolidate and bounce these 2 things down. So track 4 is a loop. Track 5 is, you saw, is a sample of the 3rd wave, right? So we just sequenced that in. Track 6 is another 1-shot. Track 7 is a loop, which if we go and look at, is this long loop here. And what I've done is I've taken each step here and basically just parameter locked it to the beginning. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll say on this last step, I'll do this, but only play 1 out of every 2. That way it lets this part play through to keep it a little more interesting. But another thing I need to go and do is say on this step here, parameter lock this to hold it for 64 steps instead of just 32. Because if we look at all these other steps, their length is set to the default length setup, which will just be like a quick little trigger of 1 bar. And if we listen to the last element here, this is another loop, which this one came from Loop Cloud. And I'm gonna save this pattern real quick, but if we listen to the whole thing, there's some toms and whatnot in there. But if I can take this and push it up a little higher. Right, so listen to all these elements. Right, so that's everything in on just the Digitakt and the elements that I have on here. All right, up next, Hallenberry, hopefully that answered your question. That was like the longest way to answer your question since it was a yes or no answer. But yes, the whole thing can be built on just the Digitakt alone. Ian, again, good to see you as always. I appreciate you a lot. How am I getting the envelope sound on the sample? Is it the new slice mode? So Chris, it is not the new slice mode, which you can use. Chris is talking about this like, right? This is a fun one to explore. So what I've done is on LFO1 of our sample, where is it at? Track. I have a down saw. It's set to the speed max of 63.99, which is essentially 64. There's not enough time between the triggers for it to really fall off, so I don't really care. The BPM is set to 32, which is going to give it this like little choppy 16th almost, or 8th sound, I guess. We slow this down to a 16. You hear how it falls off? The mode, I have it set to trigger. So if I change it between triggers, it's going to fall off. But every time a new trigger is played, it's going to re-trigger the LFO to be in tempo with everything. Bum, 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 bum. We turn this up a lot and turn our filter down. Right, or if we want to get trippy with it, we'll go to our LFO and reverse it. Right, if you throw some real rhythms on this, it gets super swung. But what's tight is if you just don't push it that hard and you go to your LFO, it's almost like a weird late swing adjustment to everything. Right, so that's another fun way to kind of use this. It's not using the new slice mode or anything like that. I'm actually just using one shots on all of these, on not any of the new slice modes for this particular track. Let's see. Whole gang's here. Yeah, I appreciate that, Panda. That's really dope. I appreciate that a lot. Let's see. Do you think you could do this type of blooper trick into the MPC? 100%. Yeah, you could totally do this with the MPC. Also, it depends on which MPC, right? And the blooper itself on this setup, it's not being clocked by anything. All I'm doing is going dun 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 dun. And on the blooper, I'm just giving it this little moment of time that is roughly matched to the tempo of this whole little setup. And then I turn on the overdub mode. But because everything that's going into the blooper is synced up to the tempo, and this is close enough to the tempo, I find that that drift kind of gives me these weird rhythms. So I almost purposely don't clock this thing to kind of help me find those weird trippy things. So the reason I say that is because with the blooper and your MPC, you just hear the beat, create that little time segment, turn it on overdub mode, and you can start grabbing these weird loops into there. Especially the MPC Live's looper mode is really, really good and really fun for creating little loops that you can quickly save and rename. Did you make the lo-fi sound on track 7 with Digitakt engine, or it's a sample use sound design before loading in the DT? All of these are samples. Some are loops. Track 7, this little sound here, that is a loop I grabbed off of Loop Cloud. And then I repitched it and did all that stuff in there and dragged it over into here and then just kind of did some stuff here. But yeah, like I said, it's still just in one shot. I didn't use warp, repitch, or slice or anything like that. I wanted to, but this sample was just too good. I just had to leave it as is. What's the name of the pedal by my coffee cup? This one here is the Blooper. That's the one I've been using. I've also been rocking the M1 as well as the R1 from Walrus Audio. These are really fun, really cool to use. Let me see if I get some light on them. Good reverb, good lo-fi style sounds, but I love the Blooper as this like trippy exploration of a delay pedal. Okay. Is that layout of elements / tracks on the Digitakt a standard layout you find yourself gravitating towards? Or yeah, Femto, I actually do always do the kick, clap, closed hat, open hat, but in this case the open hat's on 6, which also happens because I usually do my bass on 5 and I do my main sample on 8, but it happened to land on 7 because I was using this to test something out in Loop Cloud, which made me put this loop here, and then I was like, oh, this loop's kind of cool. Let me throw in some kicks, and next thing you know, I was making the track and not actually doing what I was supposed to be doing. So usually it's, you know, kick, clap, closed hat, open hat, a ride or a percussion or a bass, main sample, and then like auxiliary last minute percussion stuff that I like adding at the very end. Make these rare streams, live streams a regular thing. Finn, I want to do more live streams. I actually finally went out and bought like the proper adapter to get straight Ethernet. So hopefully this stream's been going okay. Hopefully it's kind of clear. I don't know if it's just rocking at 360p. I would love to know down below. Let me know if the stream is pretty clear or is it kind of choppy or gross. I'd like to know where to catch you live. If I ever come to the Midwest, rarely. Sometimes I'll be at KnobCon, just kicking it. But never really playing too many shows out there. Sounds like groovy Christmas music. Love it. Cheers for explaining. Let's see. Can you pan effect with another LFO on that filter LFO effect? Yeah, so modular sound bath you have on the Digitakt. Let me mute myself real quick. Need a cough. So on the Digitakt, you have 2 LFOs. And you can send these to different destinations. LFO2's destinations include LFO1's destinations as well, which is kind of cool. So you can set LFO2 to LFO1 speed and do some trippy stuff like that. Let's see. Blooper versus Zen delay. That's really tough. The Zen delay is cool. I love it for a performative playable thing. But in especially when you're like tracking in, you want to do those WFACs, that's really fun. But I like the blooper for destroying and finding new rhythms. Why didn't I get a notification of this stream? Sorry about that, future. Do I ever miss the 1000? You know what? I really miss the 1000 a lot. But I kind of accepted that this is the setup, and I've been using this a lot, and I have the most fun with this. And this is also the setup I use to play live. And it's a setup that allows me to make music in the studio pretty easily. So it kind of checked off all the boxes. The MPC 1000 is great. It's awesome. But file management on there can be a pain. I do love the size of it. I like the 1000 more than the 2500. I had the 1000, sold it to get the 2500, and regretted it because the 2500 was just bigger, but not that much better in terms of features. So I almost missed the form factor of the 1000. And playing live with the 1000 is really fun because you got the good screen on there where you can see like all the track names and the pad mutes and all that stuff. So it was really fun. But then I just started playing live with the 4000, which is huge. And the Octatrack actually reminds me a lot of the 4000. So I'm kind of in it to win it at this point with the Octatrack. It's just been one of those things where you kind of make that decision and you're like, you know what, I just need to stick with something and learn it, because every time I jump to a new product, I'm like using that time that I could have been getting better at one product over and over and over again, getting better and better and better at it. I'm using that time, which is finite, to then start something new. It's almost like starting 100 paintings and never finishing one of them, right? So I just was like, you know what, let's just master this thing. Let's have a lot of fun with this thing. And it's easy for me to use in the studio. And what's been great is the reason I have Octatrack going into Digitakt is because I usually have the Digitakt in overbridge mode, and I have its inputs for the Octatrack, which are here, going into my into Ableton Live or whatever DAW I'm using with overbridge. So I kind of in a weird way get audio over USB for the Octatrack using the Digitakt. Or if you have an audio interface, just go into there. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, Femto said it to Future Sounds. Why is the DN and the DT such a good combo? Have a DT and need a synth. Yeah, or the Syntact. That's kind of my synth. Side leg, of course. Thank you. Feed has been clean. Awesome. No glitches. Yo, thank you so much. Solid 1080. Hell yeah. All right. Anyway, I have a question. Finn, have you ever heard the song Son of a Gun by... No, I have not. Deep. I'll have to check that out. Thank you for bringing that. Bus comp for live. Are you still using the 1010 black box? I use the black box here and there. I always want to take it live with me, especially because it's such a good looper, and to just put stems in it and have it as like a backing track is really fun, because when you have that safety net of something to fall back on, it gives you room for failure, right? That's why sometimes I think making music and like creativity, there's a lot of creativity in the world, especially in places where you have room for failure. Sometimes if you're really pushing it to the limit, you don't want to take a chance on anything and you want to keep it safe, right? But if you, like, say you live somewhere where your rent's $1 or something like that and life is amazing, you're like, you know what, I can try something else out. I can do something weird. Let's give it a shot. And you never know, you might fail 1,000 times, but you might nail it that one time. So with the black box, I often think about taking it with me because it's kind of that safety net that allows me to explore a bit more and know that I have something to fall back on. It's like my reserve, I guess you can say. So I really dig it. Hello from Germany, what's good? Hello from Los Angeles. Out of topic, but do you plan to make a kind of review on the SH4D? I haven't checked it out. I haven't seen it. I haven't bought it. I mean, it looks cool. I'm kind of okay right now. I'm in this spot that I'm enjoying the way I'm making music. It's been really fun. I got my organic sounds, I got my synthy sounds, I got my 2 samplers, and then I got the Syntact for all my analog based stuff. So it's been cool. I've been digging it. So maybe not, who knows. Check out TrackLib. Yeah, I do use TrackLib a lot too. Let's see. Still into modular stuff. Jazz, still into modular stuff? Yes, here and there, not really. I've kind of fallen out of love with it. It's cool. It's fun. I do think about bringing it back, but after using it for such a long time, I start using this in this weird pattern length mode where each track has its own pattern. So I can start trying to do these weird modular things on here. So like, let's say we go to track 6 or track 5. Right, so track 5 is the bass line, right? I can say on track 5, let's just be 11 steps. Where are we at? Let's do and then on H, this is going to be your master length. I'm going to set this to just 32 steps. The difference here is that I'm setting the length for the pattern, but I'm also setting the length that when or how often it'll reset. So this is in a weird way kind of what I would end up doing on my modular system is have a reset my sequencer. But my sequencer and my gate sequencer and my CV sequencer were different, or pitch were different. They were running at their own weird times. And then the main sequencer was running at something else. So that's kind of what I end up doing here is I get to go and say do this weird 11 step thing, but reset every 2 bars so it still kind of sounds musical. I'll take this and I'll paste that here. Right, and we'll say this note is G5. We'll push that up even higher. Maybe higher. A little delay on there. Right, so I'll do some weird trippy stuff like this, and this is all stuff that I probably would have never done if it wasn't for messing with the modular stuff in the first place. So I love modular in terms of a kind of like a training ground. You go there to learn these weird ways and completely rethink the way you think about making music. And not only that, the way you sequence music, the possibilities of music gear, understanding pushing LFOs to their full potential, having envelopes on everything. And then you go to something like a third wave or a synthesizer or even the analog default device in Ableton Live, and you actually understand it a lot better. So it's good to kind of take it back to the fundamentals and take it from there and then push it forward. So I find modular stuff very useful in that sense, but when it comes to music making, I just want some patch recall. That's real quick and easy. Bruce Flash, do I think the Zen delay is worth $600? That's a lot, to be honest. Maybe check out the plugin first, see if you can find a trial of it or something. I don't even know if people do trials anymore. Maybe try that first. Korg elect tribes, yeah, I do have a couple elect tribes, the older ones. The newer ones I don't have. I know Sean Rudiman's a mega fan of them, and I hear that they can do some really good stuff. My go-to reverb today, right now, Billy, is going to be this R1 by Walrus Audio. It's really cool. And the reason I like this is because it's one of the pedals that has a pre-delay on it. And I really like the pre-delay on that CXM 1978 or whatever it was. That was a really good pedal. And I wanted to find a smaller pedal that was less expensive that had that pre-delay that I can still mess around with. Did I sell the OBX8 for that wonderful third wave? I did. I actually did. I had to. This was way too expensive, and I just bought the OBX8, and I was like, yo, I can't put myself out on the streets for this synthesizer, but I need this synthesizer. Do I miss it? Not really, to be honest, because I have the Deckard Stream, and that's kind of been my favorite analog poly synth that I've been using for a hot minute. Yeah, I did. Do I still have my S2400 after the latest updates? I don't. I missed that though. I sold the S2400. I don't have it anymore. But yeah, that's a really fun one. Do I still use it and enjoy it? Yes, the Pro 3, I have it right here. It's unplugged right now because I just don't have space. My homie's building me this like little synth cabinet so I can get everything plugged up and ready to go. But right now, what I've been using to make music mainly, Octatrack. And I know the Digitakt is here, but it's usually Octatrack and Syntakt, and then the third wave and the North. Those are kind of my main simple setups. A lot of times it just ends up being the Octatrack. Let's see, sold you on the Pro 3. Connection. No, he doesn't sell anything. Oh, synthetic. Synthetic. I wish I had the connections for a lot of these things. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but I prefer to buy them because then there's like no obligation for me to make a video or not on them, of course. But the pedals and stuff, those are fun because they're like, yeah, here you go, check them out. I'm like, okay. And then they end up being so cool that I'm like, I'm just using this as part of my workflow, right? Like this isn't sponsored by Blooper or by Chase Bliss or anything like that. Thank you, Wu Wei, appreciate that. Leary, no idea. Leary versus Viper. What does that even mean, Femto? Leary versus Viper in the NAC 4? I have no clue what that is. Is that like components? You still got the suitcase from Modular? Yeah, I still got the little suitcase. Semi-gem with push 2. Push 2 forced me to kind of use the session view too much, and I like the arrangement view, so I go in phases with the push 2. So I'm not using it right now. Hands on a third wave. Honestly, I don't know. I just emailed them, hit them up, and was like, please, can I buy one? I also saw them at Synthplex, a synth show, where I first tried it, played one chord, had to have it, and just made it happen as quick as I could. Yeah. All right. Yo, appreciate all of you. You are too awesome and too great. And yeah, anyway, until next time, hope to see you again next week. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for checking out the merch. I know some of y'all are asking about these mugs. Give me 10 minutes and I'll put this mug up for sale and I'll pin it as a comment at the top. And yeah, anyway, until then, my friends, yo, appreciate all of you. And the contrast is bumped up. Yeah, because I didn't do any, I don't have this main little light on that is my room light, right? And then I threw the this in a different little colorway. Anyway, I appreciate all of y'all. I'll see you next week. You already know the drill. Share love, share knowledge. Knowledge is power. Peace. Now let me hit you with this little tight fadeaway. Beep. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Hold on. Beep. Looney Tune style. Later.